Thank you, everybody, for joining FreightWaves SONAR 301 training today. We're going to be discussing some air cargo indices that we have here in our SONAR charts. You're here with Donny Gilbert today. I've been in the logistics world for about 15 years. I've been in customer service side. I've worked with the carrier groups. And my final 10-year stretch was working in basically pricing for both asset-based companies and brokerages. So here I've worked with a little bit of air cargo. My day-to-day business was pretty much booking loads off the spot market, which picked up normally the same day or possibly the next morning. So with brokerage, I worked every day in the spot markets using our rating tools, but fell in love when I saw SONAR. So starting out today, we want to go ahead and start with our air cargo indices. Here in SONAR, I want to go first to our knowledge center. So as you're logged in here, and you'll go up here to the top right where we see a little question mark that has a circle around it, and click on that. And then drop down here to our knowledge center. I want to click on now indices by category. And these are all the indices that are in our SONAR platform. Here are all the different groups that you can scroll down and see. And we're going to start here with our air cargo rates from different locations across the US. We have 6 different lanes. So, a little bit about air cargo. Air cargo is about 1% of the volume that's shipped across the US, but yet it represents about 35% of the value by truckload. It's a real good lead indicator for what's going on in the US economy. Your products that are shipped by air cargo are normally a lot higher value products, such as big screen TVs, your iPhones or any telephone, your gaming systems, computers, and whatnot. So here they carry a lot higher value, allowing them to be shipped by air. And normally when these products are bought when they're really busy is normally when the economy is fairly good, meaning that people have money in their hands. So we like to use the air cargo indices because that lets us know when people are spending money, the business picks up. And when money's tight, these commodities that your TVs, your telephones, and if people are not flush with cash, the purchases will go down. So you'll see our air cargo volumes go down. So it's kind of a lead indicator of what's going on with the U.S. economy, letting us know, how flush our citizens are with money. So I want to start out with right here with our air cargo, Air LLC, Air USD, and our air cargo volumes. So what is this? The FreightWaves released air cargo rates and volumes this week according to the International Air Transportation Association, the IATA. It represents about 290 of the airlines in the world. 52 metric tons are shipped a year, and that's about 35% of the global trade. These lanes here represent here down below the Frankfurt to the US. These are market rates for the price per kilogram that are shipped on these lanes. And our indices are the AIEUR. That's going to be the rate in euros. AIR USD, that's going to be the rate in US dollars. And here in the middle, AIR LOC, that's going to be the rate from the origin of the trip. So whatever country it's shipping out of, whatever their currency is, it's going to show us in their currency. So we got the little 6 different lanes: Frankfurt to North America, Frankfurt to Southeast Asia, Hong Kong to Europe, Hong Kong to North America, Shanghai to Europe, and Shanghai to North America. And we gauge all these different markets because, of course, the other markets across the world have a profound effect on the U.S. market as well. So we want to see what's shipping in air cargo throughout these lanes, and specifically also what is coming in to the U.S. So I'll start out with bringing up a chart. When I bring up my SONAR, I want to go ahead and start and build a new page, which you go down and click the Edit Pages, and then we click Add a Page. And I'm going to put air cargo. When looking at these indices, I'm going to use really just a chart. I'm not going to use our US map features or our tree map features because I'm really, really interested in the trends that are going on or the changes. And using a chart will really let us know and see if these values are going up or going down or how they've changed. So once I've started me a new page here, you see that it's blank. Go over here to the top right to the plus sign, and we will go down to charts here. And when we open up a chart, we have a blank chart. So bringing up our first one, I'm going to use the USD. And we'll look at the France to North America lanes. And here we see a chart. We can go out to 3 months. We can go out to 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, or all the information. So I'll keep it right here where we are. And this is what we're looking for, the trends that are going up and down. So here on the map is the rate per kilogram. And here on our right axis, we see the actual value. 2.00 is where we are today. So that right there is in US dollars. So it's currently at $2. Before the Labor Day holiday, it had escalated up to $2.40 per kilogram. And down below here are our dates. We have July going through, we have the beginning of August, and we have the beginning of September right here. If you scroll in, it'll give you a bit more granularity on the dates, and you can see exactly where we are. August 5th, August 19th is when the spike started before the Labor Day rush, and then the values are dropping back down. So throughout this information, this lets us know what has been going on in the air cargo markets. And by recording the prices, the way that it lets us know this information is when capacity gets tight, that means volumes are picking up. That will increase the rate per kilogram on these lanes. So when we see rates picking up and spiking up, we know that more air cargo is tightening up capacity. So higher volumes are coming into on these lanes. When we see it start to dip back down, we know that the volumes are going down. Therefore, capacity is opening up and the rates go down. So this is a great tool to use for kind of a leading indicator for what's going on in these economies. We can change it and look at the same information using euros if you would like. SONAR is a program that is sold throughout the world. So we have indices in here that show us by the euros as well and the originating country. So we see the same type of map here, except here on the right, instead of being US dollars, it is measured in euros. And on the bottom again, we have our dates. So we see here from about mid-June through the beginning of September. Last but not least here, we have from the originating country. And instead of using France to North America, we'll drop down here and use the Hong Kong to North America just to bring up a little bit different of a chart. And here we see again, back in mid-June, it dropping down. So capacity is loosening. There's a little bit less volume shipping in. We've all been informed of the trade wars that have had the effect on the Hong Kong, North America products. We see it pick up through the middle of July. Of course, we had the 4th of July holiday. And then it's been a slow dropping down. And here right before the end of the month, it picked up for the Labor Day holiday. So right now, our trend for the Hong Kong to North America is increasing. And the 26.32, again, that's the currency from the origin currency, which is Hong Kong. We have 6 lanes total. And you can see those when you type in the AIR and we use the LOC. We have Frankfurt to North America. We have Frankfurt to Southeast Asia. We have Hong Kong to Europe, Hong Kong to North America, Shanghai to Europe, and again, Shanghai to North America. Continuing on, we're going to look at air cargo volumes. And I want to go back and check back in with our Knowledge Center. Our Knowledge Center here is a great tool for information. Along with all of our indices that we use, it has great explanations on who would use this information and how to use this. On the previous lane history, you see here we have transportation executives and operation managers. And what does it tell me? Air transportation is a certain premium service. It can be a lead indicator or proxy for certain goods or economic activity. So throughout all of our indices, we have great explanations like this. Here for volume, we use the indice AIR RTM, and it's in partnership with Airlines for America, the A4A, and it's the volumes in revenue tons miles is also available in addition to the rate indices. Volumes are offered by all U.S. major airlines, 11 except for Delta. And the 4 destinations that we have are, of course, the NAFTA, which is domestic, Latin America, LATAM, Asia Pacific, APAC, and the Europe, Middle East, and Africa, EMEA. So we're going to go ahead and go back to our charts here, and we'll show you how to pull this up. Now we're using the indice AIR RTM, so that's what we will start with. AIR RTM, and you can look at this by market as well. So you see our markets pull up here, and I want to use ATL. ATL is not available, so we will use ALK for Alaskan Airlines. Again, these are leading indicators for what's going on in our economy. Here on the right, we have the revenue per ton miles here on the right, and then on the bottom here we have the dates that are listed. So as we watch these indices and we see the volumes increase, that's showing that more air cargo is moving through the Alaskan Airlines, and it shows what it can pick up, where we're picking up and where we're dropping off in our markets. We can also look it up. When you type it in, it will give you a drop down of all the codes that we use for the markets. Like here, we've got the USA. So we click on USA. These are the revenue ton miles that are moving into the USA as a total. So here we see since the middle of February, or end of February, started picking up. And then here over the past month and a half through May and June, or into May, into June, we start seeing the total volume start dropping down. And that's another lead indicator of what's going on there. Says that the air cargo was slowing down, and we knew back in June we did have a fairly slow month. So the air cargo value slowing down helps show what's going on with our economy, and it's a good lead indicator as well. So you can use these air cargo values. Moving on, we also have the inbound and outbound. Let's go back here to our knowledge center and the air cargo tonnage. And these are indices to measure the scheduled airline available tonnage. And scheduled is a very key word. Airlines will make room on their flights and post these schedules out so that shippers and receivers know how much product they can move on different airlines and on different lanes. And we have 2 types of aircraft that we use on this. One are the freighters, which that would be your C-130s, your 747s that are strictly moving air cargo only, which means no passengers. And we've all seen the pictures of these very, very large planes. The noses will open up, the back ends will open up, and they can load a large amount of air cargo onto these planes. The other way they use it is they actually load air cargo onto passenger planes. They do not use the smaller passenger planes. They use what we call the wide body planes. And those are going to be your larger airplanes, like a 757, 767, 747, and the Boeing 777s and 787s. These planes can also carry not only passengers and their luggage, but they have 3 different areas that they can also carry freight for air cargo as well. Looking at these indices, they're listed here below. We have outbound air cargo tonnage by kilometers, and we have the inbound and outbound cargo tonnage. We have outbound air cargo tonnage by passenger wide body and the inbound by the passenger wide body. And we have inbound air cargo tonnage by freight and outbound by kilometers by passenger wide body, inbound air cargo by passenger wide body, outbound cargo ton kilometers by freighter, and the inbound air cargo tons kilometers by freighter as well. So who is interested in these? Anyone's interested in the growth or shrinkage of the air cargo capacity, leaving an airport or multiple airports, shippers, brokers, trucking companies, executives, market planners, airline planners, airport planning staff, and cargo handlers. This is the type of information that they would love to be able to pull up and see. The ACT indices indicates the total available tonnage capacity for cargo in and out of airports and whether it's growing or shrinking by whether we see the lines going up or going down in our charts. Let's go ahead and pull up here in a chart. We will start with the OATC. OATC dot. And now we will look at Atlanta. So here looking at this chart, we see what's been going on throughout the history of the previous months. So here's the 2019. We saw it here in May. It started picking up. The springtime air cargo season was picking up. And you see here that we ended September where we are today, but we had this dotted line that goes forward. This dotted line is very, very interesting. Since they send out their schedules and not what's actually shipping, this lets us know the outbound cargo tons from the Atlanta airport. This lets us know what they intend to ship from this market. So it's what they have capacity made available. So this lets us know what airlines expect to happen out of this market and what they're going to do. So as we see this market start to drop down throughout the fourth quarter, we see that airlines are not creating as much capacity for outbound cargo out of Atlanta. So we see that the air cargo values are probably going to drop for outbound from this market. If we look at the inbound, which we can also compare, we see again the inbound is here in green, and it closely matches what the outbound has been seeing as well for the inbound freight into Atlanta. We can also bring this up by the passenger planes. So OACTP, it's using our passenger wide body aircraft. And this is also, again, air cargo tons by passenger flights from the outbound from the Atlanta airport. This helps identify potential volumes for trucking companies that are taking freight to the airports and changes over in the overall market. So here we see the market has been trending downward, and then we see the capacity going forward is also trending downward. So if you run an air cargo company that moves freight from customers in Atlanta to the Atlanta airport, you will be making adjustments, understanding that capacity is going down. The market's probably going to take a downward shift. If we look at the same indice, CTP.ATL, and using the same Atlanta airport, we see here, this is the inbound cargo. Inbound cargo is the potential volumes for trucking companies that are picking up cargo at the airport and delivering out to the surrounding communities. This helps us know what's going on with the changes in the markets, and this would really suggest the freight that's actually being moved on more likely on passenger planes is more than likely LTL cargo. So if you're an LTL air cargo shipper, this is the type of indices that you're going to be looking at, and probably relating mainly to you want to look at the passengers, but of course LTL can also be moved on your freighters. Let's pull up one for a freighter. OACT TF dot, and we'll use, and then you take one of those T's out of there, and we'll use Atlanta as well. So here we got our dotted line, which is the market going forward, and let's kind of back it up here. Again, we see that the market kind of tightened up here in May, and of course from May we've been slowly going down. We see the last few days here after the holiday it dipped down, and the dotted line once again represents the capacity going forward that these airlines are going to give out for outbound capacity. And these are on freighters. These are your C-130s, your 747s that are loaded strictly with freight. This helps to identify the potential volumes for trucking to the airports and the changes in the overside markets. This could be both the full truckload and LTL carriers. That's the type of loads that'll be going on your freighters. It'll be a little bit difficult to be able to get a full truckload on a passenger airplane. So whenever you ship something FTL and it's going air freight, it will more than likely be going on one of these uh, freighter type aircraft from the Atlanta airport. We can also look here at our inbound IACPF dot ATL. And this is the inbound. This helps identify potential volumes for trucking from the airports and changes in the oversized overall markets. We suggest that there's more demand for full truckload from the airport as these freighters are carrying the heavier cargoes in and out of the Atlanta airport. So again, we can check here and see what has been happening in the world with the aircraft of full freighters and what's going forward. And again, as we get in later into the fourth quarter, we see that they are dropping capacity down, and expectations they're going to offer less capacity. If you want to as well, we can pull both of these indices up together. OACTK. And we'll choose the Atlanta market again. This is the same type of metrics that we were just looking at, except it has combined both freighters and passenger planes. So we look again and we see the same trends that have been going on. Here in the springtime, it started to pick up. And since the peak here in about mid-June, we've seen it slowly going down. Right here after we stop right here, and this is the scheduling going forward again in the dotted lines. You see the dotted lines dropping down. That means airlines are planning for outbound freight volumes to be slowing down in the Atlanta market, and they're not going to be offering up as much capacity for outbound. So if you are an LTL or FTL carrier that's moving freight from customers into the Atlanta airport to be shipped out, you can probably at least be some telltale signs that volumes are going to slow down here coming up. Again, in the reverse, we can look at the IACTK.ATL, and this is inbound, and this again is wide body aircraft and freighters together, and it's by the cargo ton kilometers, and this is the inbound to the Atlanta airport. And of course, a lot of this information here will also be used by your executives, especially executives that are in the airline industries, to see what is going on with the cargo volumes. Here's our previous history of what's going on. Again, we see it picking up in the springtime, and we have our dotted line that is showing what's going to be the capacity offered in the future. And these dotted lines normally go out about 2 months. So when we're looking at these air cargo values, what we want to see and what we want to learn is what is going on in the markets. How can we see information that would help me as either a shipper or a broker or a carrier know what's going on in the markets? And when we look at these volumes, when we look at these rates, and we see stuff happening with air cargo, it can really kind of let us know what is coming forward as a lead indicator in these markets. When we see rates picking up from loads coming over from either Europe or Hong Kong, we see the rates go up. We know that capacity is picking up, that volumes are picking up. And the U.S. Trucking coming right now is led off of imports. We've got a lot of imports that come either in by ship or by, you could use rail out of Mexico or Canada, and air traffic from overseas. And these volumes come into different airports, and they are distributed throughout the U.S. And we're very driven by the imports. So seeing these indices can help you understand, is our economy possibly on the upswing? Is it on the downswing? Are these goods that are moved through air cargo picking up? Or is our economy flush with funds? Are people spending money? Or when things tighten up, they're not going to be spending quite as much money. So therefore, you can see the volume start slowing down. So people are not buying as much big screen TVs. They're not replacing their old iPhone with the new iPhone X. And they're not going to be buying their child the new gaming system because funds are tight. So that's how we measure things that can be going on with the economy using air cargo, because of the type of cargo that is moved. We're going to hold here for just 1 second to see if we have any questions. Again, I want to encourage everybody to check out our Knowledge Center. Again, click on the question mark and then drop down the Knowledge Center. And of course, drop down to indices by category. And today we did air cargo, but there's a lot, multiple indices that we can look at. We have agriculture volumes, agricultural pricing. We have our air cargo indices that we went over today. And as you click on these different indices, you will see a great description explaining what it is and the types of the indices that we use, which are listed right here, which you'll be typing in your charts, the OATCK, and who is interested and what does it actually tell you. And we have these indices for multiple different categories. We have demographics, detention, energy pricing, energy volumes, environmental. We do our 201 class on the market volumes and supply and demand. We'll have other classes coming up here with maritime and rail and intermodal, and of course with some of our economic indices as well. But you can still go ahead and click on some of these indices and get some great information about what it is and how you can learn from it. I appreciate everybody signing in today. That is air cargo, and please sign up next week. We have 201 on Wednesday and 301 on Thursday.